Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jorge Flores. I'm co-founder and CTO of Entidad. We're a bootstrap startup based out of Los Angeles. And for the last, say, 4 or 5 years, we've been working on our mission to collaborate with farm worker serving organizations that are mostly nonprofits operating here in the US, who have a mission to help our essential workforce, the farm workers who feed us and are the backbone of our food supply chain. Um, the problem statement, it's difficult because these organizations operate on shoestring budgets. A lot of times they operate on grants. It's difficult for them to, as service providers, securely connect and verify farm worker information in the delivery of their services. The types of services they provide are immigration service assistance, helping facilitate a visa or a permanent residency application, or DACA, which is the dream or the deferred action for childhood arrivals. And so, these organizations typically don't have IT organizations or IT systems, and it's usually a hodgepodge of disparate solutions that are put together in order to facilitate the service delivery. So over the last 2-3 years, we've been hard at work leveraging and building a digital trust infrastructure. We have one product. It's a product we call Prepárase. In Spanish, it means get ready. The initial motivation for this solution was anticipation of comprehensive immigration reform that we're still waiting for from our Congress. But the idea here is to make it easy for organizations to tap in, to join this ecosystem, and be able to verify information from the farm workers. And this verification process, which is very difficult and challenging due to a number of reasons, hopefully they can do this in a cost-effective way, and be able to impact the lives of these individuals. So, yeah, that's our vision. So, with Prepárase, we're building. So, what makes it unique? We've decided, for a number of reasons, to build on top of a low-code application platform. And so, what we've contributed and are hoping to continue to maintain with the OpenWallet Foundation is a framework that anybody who is implementing on this same low-code platform can develop digital trust applications, whether it be wallet holder service, or issuer verifier, in a multitude of form factors, whether it's web, responsive, or PWA, or native. A use case, one that we're very proud of to be participating in. Last year, Congress earmarked $680 million to be reserved for direct pandemic relief in the form of $600 cash distributions to eligible farm workers. The UFW Foundation, which is one of our primary customers, and 8 sister organizations applied for a grant, and they received 93 million, of which $80 million is going to be dedicated specifically to distribute this much needed assistance. Now, this is 80 million, but the total program is 680 million. So our solution has been in production, operational since January. And I believe up to today, we've supported the distribution of 60,000 cash assistance payments. So Alivio is a native app wallet application. The wallet's embedded. So the application is really a solution that is used as a single point of contact from the perspective of the farm worker, where they have one app that they download from the app stores. And through this app, they're able to engage with trusted organizations in a secure and privacy respecting way. So Alivio is the first use case. And the typical problem statements that I'm sure everybody here recognizes in your own use cases is, how do you positively identify a farm worker? They have to prove that they're a farm worker, and they have to prove, usually to some form of identity documentation, that they are who they say they are. Once they do that, then depending on the specific requirements for the service delivery, in this case, they have to prove their identity and mailing address and proof of employment. These three are important, especially mailing address, because they're going to get a personalized debit card mailed to their address. Note that farm workers, many are seasonal, so they don't live here in the US. Okay, sorry. So many of them are seasonal. They're traveling from their place of origin, whether largely Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and other countries too. There's not just Spanish-speaking farm workers. And what are the challenges, and why OpenWallet Foundation? Well, for one, because we're building on low code, that doesn't mean low code. That doesn't mean no code. There's a lot of complexity in delivering secure transactions online. But the types of challenges that as a user community, we're discovering and helping to solve, problems that, the digitally savvy don't necessarily have to be concerned about, or don't necessarily are aware that these challenges are still very much challenges today. Shared devices, changing phone numbers, changing devices frequently, email address, they don't use email address, and even, downloading an app from the App Store, believe it or not, that is a challenge, because many times, even though farm workers have smartphones, they're either not aware, or they don't know, they forgot that there's an email tied to an account that they need to log into in order to download an app. So with the OpenWallet Foundation, we hope that our work is transparent and gives us, gives the community that we're trying to serve, as well as the organizations that we're trying to work with, the assurance that the code delivering these services is trustworthy and, at some point certified. And lastly, the solution. Today, we're working off the Aries frameworks. So on the wallet holder side, Aries framework JavaScript, that's the native app framework that can be embedded into any Mendix application. And then there's also issue or verifier, a non-creds credential issuance and credential presentation capability that we're currently working on incorporating. And these components are our current focus for the OpenWallet project, the Farmworker Wallet OS, but we plan over time to add support for other credential formats, including W3VC and OpenID credential exchange. Any questions?
Just a comment. This is good stuff. The E-Verify on the back end. So you said there's a lot of agricultural farm workers. They need to get typically an H-1A visa. So have you thought about tapping into E-Verify to verify that for your ID proofing process?
Absolutely. Cierto Global, one of the organizations that we're working with based out of Washington, is an ethical recruiter. And we've built a workforce management solution that part of the first process of their recruitment is recruiters on the ground that are doing the intake. Once they're in the system, the next step is, okay, let's facilitate your H-2A visa. So we're hoping that at some point the H-2A becomes a verifiable credential that could then, alleviate the need to build solutions like this, right? Because then if you've already got a credential in a wallet, then, verifying and transacting should be a lot more straightforward. We know that Canada has a similar seasonal worker program for agricultural workers. And we hope that if you Google Farmworker Wallet OS on YouTube, you'll find the demo of the solution. And we've demonstrated interoperability with the BC Digital Trust infrastructure. And we continue to work on other solutions that are out there that we can tap into easily and have that interoperability. So it's not specific to any one solution. if you have an API or an SDK and it's well documented and it's, you know, priced at a reasonable rate, then it's that much easy for us to implement it because we're working in a low code environment. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
So one of the challenges, first, thank you for your presentation. It's always lovely to hear you let people know that you have a whole hour-long presentation on the Trust Over IP YouTube. If somebody wants to go learn more about.
That's true, yes.
It's really fabulous. What have you done to solve the shared device challenge? And have you like reached out to the government of Baton and had the same thing where a whole village would have one device?
Jorge, if you don't mind, just repeat briefly the question in case the people online didn't hear the question.
So the question is, what have we done to solve the shared device problem? We're still working on it, but what we've done recently, initially, you know, we consider ourselves, you know, ecosystem builders, layer 4 in the trust over IP architecture stack. And so our original intent was not to develop wallets or not to develop this technology. We ended up implementing a connector to a third-party vendor solution that provided us the custodial wallet capability and credential issuance. Well, for a number of reasons, vendor decided to, you know, move away from the Aries architecture that we're originally building, and so that kind of like led us into Aries framework JavaScript. We had a breakthrough in being able to figure out how to embed the Aries framework JavaScript into our native app framework. And so with Aries framework JavaScript, it has a multi-tenant capability. So that's number one. Number two is we're currently working on integrating a third-party solution for human verification, 3D liveness. And we think that the combination of the two will help us securely allow the authentication of an individual on a shared device, so that even on a shared device, multiple users will still have some level of protection when they're interacting with the app.